Welcome back for some more fun over on this channel. I am checking out a new artist for me today. This will be Sonu Nigam. This is the MTV Unplugged Season 3. We're going to be checking out this performance. This is a reaction and an analysis, so I will be pausing and talking about the vocals, talking about what I'm hearing as we're going along. I always love listening to new vocalists to see, because I have no idea what qualities we're going to hear today, so let's go. Please do go and check me out over on Patreon if you do enjoy what I do over here, and do go and check out the other links in the description below. Oh, that's so pretty. This opening is mesmerizing. My eyes actually already going, wow, there is such beautiful control, a display of control happening in Sonu's voice already. This is stunning. First of all, beautiful xylophone entrance, and we had, it's just a lovely light feel, and then that beautiful piano that comes in as well. Everything feels really complimentary of everything. And then we have the wonderful vocals come through on this beautiful melisma, this really delicately controlled with dynamics. And notice how quite closed the mouth is. We're not relying on the volume by, opening the mouth and having a big space. We're really close to the mic, keeping it closed so we can really control all the small movements. There are lovely little scoops happening in his voice as well when we kind of hover on one note and let it bounce. It's super fast, and it's almost subtle to the point where you can't hear it, but it's got a huge effect because it is there, and it doesn't just hold out a note straight out. There are some decorations and some waves. It's beautiful. Can you hear how sometimes how he approaches the different intervals, so the next note, then how he approaches all the notes coming along? Sometimes they're quite, there's like small glissandos and slides up to the notes, but that time we had we had quite an abrupt step, a really direct step, so we can hear those two different notes rather than it scoop and hit all the notes on the way. So controlling how we're sometimes approaching the interval jumps with slides and then sometimes with steps is another great display of control. He has got everything, and he's just sat down. The pitch is just spot on as well. Everything is working together. There's this bright quality in his voice as well. This is some twang. Twang really helps us control without having to open his mouth, because his mouth isn't open, right? It's quite, well, obviously it is, but it's not wide open. It's really controlled and it's quite small. But the twang is going to help us really get that bright forward ping, and we can really hear that in here. Oh, those beautiful trills. He almost hovers on a nasal quality there.
छलकी छलकी चांदनी में गाती है दीवानगी. छलकी छलकी चांदनी में गाती है दीवानगी.
The the use of his hands with where he's going note-wise is really interesting because we can hear this really quick vibrato in his voice, right? That tremble between two notes is really, really fast and sometimes not happening. Notice what he's doing with his hands. He sometimes, will go for a straight tone and it holding out, and then sometimes he'll plays it down because he's not given it any thought. He's not thinking, I need to do this with my hands, but it's just an extension of what he's doing vocally. I love how everything is in tune. And yeah, again, it's just another display of that control. Sometimes we're going to go on a straight vibrato where I land on that note and then we hear the da, the trill in the voice. Sometimes da, we just hit a straight tone and it just holds on. It's beautiful. Dynamic wise, we're pretty quiet. We're pretty piano here, and it's just letting this, the majority of the volume stay quite, a normal volume, not too loud, not too quiet, so that when we do dip in volume and do get a little bit quiet, we can hear that draw back and then just come up a little bit.
ये गाना मैं इसलिए गा रहा हूँ क्योंकि इस गाने के लिरिक्स राइटर मेरे बहुत ही प्रिय मित्र और बहुत ही गुणी सोचने वाले अब से कुछ एक महीने पहले दुनिया को छोड़ के चले गए at the age of 42 अजय झिंगरन. I'll always miss his eyes, his spirit. So this is my tribute to Ajay Jingran.
Wow. Okay, so we had a bit of spoken dialogue there. There was some English language there as well, so we could hear, or I can understand there as well. But even if, this is why music is so important, because even if one doesn't speak the language that of the performer, singer that we're listening to, even if we don't share the same language as the song that we're listening to, we can still feel the emotion. Everything feels really calm and relaxed. It feels there's a lot of thought in this delivery, and I just love how still he is. In that spoken quality, we can hear this richness, this darkness to his voice. He's got a lovely, warm timbre. It's a low setting. What's important when we hear a spoken part of the song is understanding, okay, this is how one's natural setting is. We don't think about too much where we are, the larynx is sitting when we're talking, so that when we're singing, we want it to be an extension of our speaking voice, and it all makes sense, that clarity. Yes, we're hearing a bit of huskiness when we're singing to create that vulnerability and dynamics, but can you hear how it's got this lovely warmth feel to it? It's an extension of his speaking voice.
बीते जो बाहों में तेरी वो ही पल है जिंदगी बीते जो बाहों में तेरी वो ही पल है जिंदगी.
Listen to, I really love the different scales that you hear depending on what kind of scale we're using. It's really, really lovely and fitting to this genre that we're hearing, all these really lovely intervals and it going on to this third here. It's just beautiful. Something that he is really leading forward with vocally when he goes on these really fast melismas and runs across the word, across words, across vowels, is actually bring an H, an aspirate ha, not too harshly. It could be a smooth aspirate ha. As soon as we, just put your hands on your stomach and go ha ha. Right, I'm not even forcing anything. I'm not going ha out loud, ha, but you can feel the stomach involved. We can feel a little bit of a pulse. So as we are going through and navigating, it doesn't look like he's doing much. He's just sat down, but this slight aspirate allows us to feel engaged as we're going through this. The agility is so spot on. His pitch is just incredible. Straight tone is vibrato, beautiful.
छलकी छलकी चांदनी में गाती है दीवानगी.
He's really commanding that space. You can see him just turning around and inviting someone else, another instrument maybe coming forward. Let's go see it. I love the way he's also using his mouth. Even though he's not open that much, like we said, we feel like sometimes he kind of pulls it to the left, closes it up again, and it changes the vowel sound, and it changes the dynamics as well. We can control the dynamics as if we like open and close our mouth some more. And there's a nice, almost like a sob, like a sad kind of quality to his mouth position. What this does, it really just allows us to feel, again, controlled. You could see how fast we're going. As soon as we play those decorations around the notes, we can see how fast he is doing that. Not all the time, but the majority of the time they seem to be pretty speedy. So in order for us to control and navigate through the different passagios of our voice, because as he's ascending, we're going to be going over the first passage a little bit, okay? So we need to be able to keep the mouth a little bit narrow so we can navigate through that. If the mouth was a bit spread and too open, the chest voice might be invited to come up a little bit, and it'll feel a bit of a strain. Again, we can see how relaxed he is. He's sat down. He's not doing anything to try and like reach up. The movement that we're seeing is very connected to what we are hearing. It's not anything causing restrictions. So just keeping that a bit narrow just means we're right on top of that voice. And another thing, there's so many wonderful things. The breath work as well. He throws a lot of breath through. So what that means is when the vocal folds are vibrating to create sound, there's just pockets of breath coming through. Still connecting because we're still getting some tone, but otherwise it's a lot of breath coming through. And then he controls it by connecting and then letting it go. Connecting and then vibrating and letting it go. And it's just like there are so many different juxtaposition factors happening in such a quick time. It's just incredible. Oh, the piano. Oh, I love that. This is beautiful. Oh, it's like water.
अभी मुझ में कहीं बाकी थोड़ी सी है जिंदगी.
I love these chord progressions. Okay, we're getting such beautiful instrumentation there, that percussion coming forward as well. Much more involved chord progression wise as we're navigating through. This is beautiful. Can you hear how much more of a connected vocal quality we have here from Sonu? We have much more of a full, so like I was just explaining with the vocal fold, as they're vibrating, they're now connecting much more when we're hitting these low notes. This is lovely. This is similar to where he was speaking earlier as well. So the vocal folds are lovely and thick, connecting all the way to create lovely, clear vocals, still with that vibrato. And it doesn't have to be that level of volume all the time, but that is the base of this section, so we can still push and pull whenever needed. Oh, nice. And that sudden escape of breath. Oh, I loved it. As we go on to then the next, because we can hear how the chord hasn't resolved. It's then progressing because we're still not finished. I know I paused in the middle of the chorus there. I feel like we're at a chorus now. I love this ascend in the music. As we're ascending, we're building. It's growing in that it wants to reach that big section of the song. Vocally, we're still clear. Can you notice as well that we're making much more room and space with the mouth as well? When he hits this note in that big chest belt here, it's not necessarily like forcing a lot of volume, but we are a lot louder than what we were. And if we want to have a louder sound, we need to make sure that we have full vocal fold closure. If there's breath coming through, there's only so much louder we can get. So yeah, just really controlling that. Now is the time just to get that lovely and connected to go into this next section, and we go higher in this next section as well for the chorus. It's beautiful. We are doing much more open things with our arms as well. Everything is connected with our body, with our voice. I love the way that he's connecting each word to the next to build and support the next word as we're ascending through this section. It's really got that legato feel. We're not breaking off. That phrase is just lovely and long. Oh, those swells. Nice controlled diminuendo with his mouth and just the volume, just kind of closing that in, and with the vibrato as well. Because his vibrato is so quick when it's not a tremolo. Tremolo is when we use that with the volume. This vibrato is just swapping between the two. But it's very similar to how he scoops those notes, because that's really fast. But those are two different techniques, the vibrato and then the scooping, like the those kind of like jumps, hiccups in the voice. Those are two very different qualities, but he's hopping between the two of them really fast. Again, it's just understanding and also what's the word? Isolating. That's the word. It's isolating the two, but then popping them together one after the other to create a really lovely effect. It's beautiful. That section just before we had that lovely long note, which then he again uses his hand to reach out and then comes back down. It's beautiful. And then beautiful straight tone first on that. Oh, I love this feeling. It's so hopeful. Oh. Okay, let's just talk about, obviously we had a lovely piano solo there. That's, we have Sonu in the middle. All the instruments and musicians, I should say, are around him. And there's eye contact. There's just a lovely, everyone's reading each other, understanding what to do when. It's obviously rehearsed, but it's then, here we go. And now we get to have a bit of freedom on the piano. Beautiful. And yeah, it's this key that they're writing in, it's just, or playing in, I should say, and sometimes occasionally slight, like going into maybe the relative minors, I think we're having here occasionally as well. It's really lovely, written really interestingly, because it has this feeling of hopefulness, positivity, and yet there's a slight underlining of uncertainty, maybe, especially when we had that bit of the minor change there in the middle of that piano solo. Beautifully done. I just love it. All the instruments make sense. Okay, let's go. Let's listen to this final section. I love that instrument there. What is that? Can you hear how his vocal delivery, where he's choosing to go, where the melody goes, really follows with where the instrumentation's going? As soon as we change, his vocal line's doing that, but so is everyone else. Everything just complements. Sometimes this doesn't have to always happen, but it just sounds, it's a beautiful conversation between him and all the other instruments. Everyone's on the same journey with him. It's beautiful. And he's doing these lovely scoops again with the vocal line, that legato feeling, connecting word to word, scoops, or under as well, as he goes up, but it controls the volume. Then when he lands on the note, he's a little bit louder, but it really gets quiet and dips in. Again, just multiple different tools to control the dynamics. Oh, so rich.
रूठे बच्चे की हंसी जैसे फुसलाने से फिर खिल गई कुछ
Stop it just one more time there, just again. Da, that one, na, that little slide there, really close. We've had a lovely close shot of Sonu there. Really guiding that slide with the breath. Again, just letting more breath come through the vocal folds and then finding that clarity at the end there. It's not a loud sound. If there's more breath coming through the vocal folds, there's only so loud that we can be. So really just holding, controlling. So we're hitting everything and not it just becoming breath. Beautifully controlled as we slide there. I love it. And then we land. Here we go. I love the hovers between those two notes. I'm still so mesmerized by this beautiful melismas as we're going through the words. It's beautiful. Okay, so it's da da. We had a fall off. We can hear the audience just cheer and be like, yes, rightly so, because that was the same note as before. We decided to go up higher now. So when we do this and we want to maintain the same fullness, hey, we're definitely higher into the, I feel like we're around a G maybe? We're at an F. Okay, I was a tone off. We're at an F, but this F4 is important because we're at the top part of our chest voice for male lower set singers. So when I mentioned the first passaggio is when our voice wants to go from the thick folds to thin folds really quickly. So if you've ever experienced that, the little Tarzan moment, that would be our first passage. This is where the change is most obvious. We do have more later on, but they're not as obvious because the vocal folds are already thin. They're just getting a bit thinner. But if we're going from thick to thin and we want to maintain this full sound, this one might, we could still feel like it's a very chest dominant sound. Yes, it could definitely be here, and we can still keep working, we still get higher in that same quality. But what we need to also do is have that support from above. This is where a chest dominant mix quality is very appropriate to go into. That note beforehand, da, before we go ba onto that note, da is our anchor point. We need to make sure we're lovely and secure. So when we shoot up, we're relying on that twang that we mentioned before. So twang's been quite present throughout most of this. Relying on that twang, and then that sub kind of quality, the narrow. I know we can't see his face here, so it's a little bit of a shame that we can't see his face to see what it's doing. But I can imagine it sounds beautiful, and in his voice that his mouth is quite narrow. Da da. So when we're just hitting, we're just dropping it rather than spreading and wanting to reach too much with our thick folds. We need to find a nice placement. It's still chest dominant because it's in that belt, but it needs to have that support from above. I love it. Beautiful low notes.
जरा
Oh, hold on. I need to listen to that again because that was so good. There was such lovely different pockets he went into that in that last part. Again, I love how he's controlling, had his hand up just to tell everyone there's the end now. We did a double chorus there as well. I let it play just to see. It felt like dynamically we were a little bit quieter on that second one, which was interesting. But also it made sense because of where we went to later on. That this ending, beautiful, just there was a bit of a rit. We just slowed everything down. We held on to that one note, let it kind of ring, as it were, before we went on to that beautiful last section. This is so good. When we're sat down, obviously, you know, we can be very, very well supported and still sing. Sometimes people, you know, when we see someone sat down and singing, it all depends on the posture and how we're sat. Obviously, if we're crumpled, I'm down here now. If we're crumpled and, you know, squashing everything, then of course it's going to be much trickier. But if we're sat down and we've got this lovely posture, then you can keep singing, it's all good. But as we're getting a bit more involved with the, you know, the emotion is carrying the chorus, we're getting a little bit higher maybe. This rocking, what this does, as soon as we go back, it's going to engage our core. So it's a very helpful tool. And again, I feel like it's just happening because he's feeling like I want support. It's just happening. He's not thinking, let me lean back. But I'm just saying that the leaning back does help with that support. Right, let's go to this ending. There's this lovely, as he's, you know, running around this note, as soon as he hits higher notes, again, you can hear that almost that switch. It's not a, let me press my foot on the gas pedal and go, yeah, and like scream with your face, control beautifully with that volume. It's not too loud. And then that mix quality, just pulling it up from above, narrow as well, rather than it just full steam ahead, lots of thickness and chest voice. It's just really beautifully placed. Lovely open vibrato. That offset was beautiful as well. So you hit, when we hit that first time that we go up, we also start with a z, which is lovely because the z has, again, pop your hand on your waist for me and just go z. You can feel we're engaged. We have that support and we need that as we ascend. It's a lovely clear way of starting. Then we can go off wherever we want. Listen to that. Beautiful crescendo. Wow.
Thank you very much.
That was stunning. I loved that. I'm so happy that I stepped into the world of Sonu Nigam. That was beautiful. Please let me know where to go next because that song, the instrumentation was beautiful, paired with his voice and what he did and the control. I loved it. Thank you very much for watching this reaction and analysis video. Please do go and hit that subscribe button, the bell button, and a thumbs up button. Leave me a comment in the comment section and go and check me out over on Patreon. There's lots of fun to be had over there. Right, I'll see you very soon. Bye.